Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and in today's video we're going to be going over each and every main member of the Tokyo Manji Gang. This will consist of us going over each of the 5 captains and their vice captains, explaining a little bit about them, and then finally at the end of the video we will go over Draken and the Invincible Mikey. But before we get into all of that, if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers content and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also if you do enjoy my videos, then make sure you hit that like button, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my content to a bunch of new amazing people. But enough of that, let's get into the video. So first, let's go over the first division captains and their vice presidents respectively. There have been a total of 3 different first division captains. The first were 2 co-captains during the beginning of Toman before people had their proper respective divisions. This division, formerly called the attack unit, was co-led by Kazutora, Hanemiya and Kisaki Baji. Kazutora Hanemiya was one of the 6 founders of Toman and the captain of the first division along with Baji. Due to an incident that happened after they started the Tokyo Manji Gang, Kazutora was sentenced to 10 years in juvenile prison, and is only seen a few times in the timelines where Takemichi has returned to being an adult and in flashbacks to the beginning of Toman. He is 15 years old at the start of the series and 27 in the present timeline. His name, Kazutora, means one tiger, which is in reference to the tiger tattoo that he has on the side of his neck. Baji is also another one of the 6 founding members of Toman and the main reason for the creation of the gang. He was initially the co-captain of Division 1 along with the previously mentioned Kazutora. Then he moved into the position as its captain after Kazutora was sentenced to juvie. Baji is 15 years old in the series and is either seen with his long black hair left free flowing or tied up in a ponytail on other occasions. Baji is extremely loyal to Toman and his friends, but would do absolutely anything for Kazutora, as we saw throughout the Valhalla arc. Takemichi Hanagaki is the main character of Tokyo Revengers, and after a ton of hard work becomes the first division captain of the Tokyo Manji Gang. Although Takemichi isn't one of the founders of the group, he grows into a position where all of the founding members see him as someone they can look to when they need help. He is 14 in the past and 26 in the future timeline, making him one of the younger members in the gang. Chifuyu is the vice president of the first division under Takemichi. He becomes an extremely close friend with Takemichi throughout the series. He has blonde hair, is 14 years old in the present timeline and 26 years old in the future timeline. Now that we've gone over all the captains and vice captains of the first division in the Tokyo Manji Gang, we can move on to Division 2. Division 2 has been held by 1 captain and 1 vice captain throughout the entirety of the series, never being replaced. This is the fashion designer Takashi Mitsuya and his vice captain Hakkai Shiba. The second division was first designated as the gang's elite guard, meant to protect Mikey. Takashi Mitsuya is the president of the second division of Toman and the older brother of 2 sisters, Mana and Luna, and the designer of the Tokyo Revengers uniform. Mitsuya is also one of the founding 6 members of Toman and is currently 15 years old in the anime, making him 27 years old in Takemichi's future timelines. Hakkai Shiba is the vice president of Toman's second division and the younger brother of Taiju and Yuzuha Shiba. Despite his large size, Hakkai is extremely timid and a very friendly guy. Hakkai comes from a wealthy family, which earns him the so-called notoriety as the moneybags of the Tokyo Revengers. He is slightly younger than Takemichi by a few months, but is still 14 and 26 in respective timelines. Behind Division 2 is obviously the 3rd division, known as the flag bearers of the gang, although it does look like this division specializes in strength and straight brute force as well. This division is initially led by Haruki Hayashida, or just Pashin, and Rohei Hayashi, better known as Payan, who is still vice president, but after Pazi rests, Kisaki ends up taking his position, much to the disappointment of Takemichi. Though for this video I'm just going to be going over Pachin and Payan. If you're interested in knowing more about Kisaki Tetta, then be sure to check out my video on who he is and how insane he really is. Pachin is a founding member of the Tokyo Manji Gang and the captain of the 3rd division. Although he is currently spending 2 years in juvenile prison for his actions during the Moebius and Toman incident, he is 15 years old currently, making him also 27 in the original timeline. Even though he seemed extremely aggressive at first, he is actually an extremely cheerful and nice person, who even admits that his previous actions were stupid. Payan is the best friend and vice president of Pachin's 3rd division. After some incidents that occur throughout the first 2 arcs of the story, Payan is made into the standing 3rd division captain until the return of Pachin from juvie. I find Payan to be an extremely aggressive character, but is someone who cares for his close friends and would do anything for them. He is also 15 years old in the past timeline and 27 in the future one. Division 4 is the most mysterious division, as hardly anything is known about it. What is known though is that it is currently run by the twins Nahoya and Sota Kawata, most well known as Smiley and Angry, who are big fan favourites of people who are up to date with the manga. Smiley is the captain of Division 4 and is one of the older members of the group, coming in at 16 in the past and 28 in the future timelines. He is a very bubbly character and one that is extremely lovely to just have around, though you never want to get on the wrong side of Smiley, as if you do you can pretty much just call it quits, because you'll have to deal with the man himself, Angry. Angry is the younger brother of Smiley and vice president of Division 4 in Toman. Though he seems extremely angry, hence the name, he is actually very kind and considers himself a pacifist. However, once something unfair or very dangerous happens to one of his close friends or brother, he starts to cry out in rage, and according to Nahoya, once in the state of the crying blue ogre, he would be considered 100 times stronger than Smiley himself. Angry is also 16 and 28 in respective timelines. The fifth and final division is a different type of division than all others in the gang. Led by Yoshihiro Muto, this division was made before Takemichi joined, but at a currently unknown time. This division allows infighting as a special division force. They are allowed to go behind Mikey and the other captains to attack a member if they think they are possibly a traitor. This is considered the Public Morality Council. Yoshihiro Muto is, like I've said, the captain of Division 5. He was born 2 years before the older members of Toman and is considered part of the S62 generation, which is considered the worst generation of delinquents, and he met some of the Toman members after spending time in juvenile detention for breaking the spine of someone. He is currently 18 years old and 30 in future timelines. Haruchiro Sanzu. Sanzu is an extremely mysterious character and the main reason I decided to include Division 5. As someone who is still a key player in the current Bonten arc, as the number 2, he is an extremely mysterious but dangerous figure at the same time. With the nickname or alias, the Loyal Mad Dog, I think it states it all. As the vice president of Division 5, he is 15 years old when he is introduced into the story and 27 in his respective future timelines. Taking the spot as the number 2 in the Tokyo Manji Gang is the infamous Ken Ryuguji. Draken is the vice leader of Toman and Mikey's best and closest friend in the series. Draken is an extremely wild person with a heart of gold, who is extremely loyal to Mikey and tries his best to guide him. At the start of the series, he is 15 years old like the majority of the Toman members and 27 in his future timeline. Finally, the leader of Toman and probably my favourite character in the series, Manjiro Sano, better known as just the Invincible Mikey. Mikey is one of the most in-depth and interesting characters in the entire story, who's initially hard to analyse due to his so-called dark impulses that always seem to get a hold of him. He is 15 when he first meets Takemichi and 27 when Naoto introduces him along with Kisaki to us in the first chapters. There is also a 6th division that comes about after a while, but for now I'm just going to stick with the core 5 divisions that have stuck with us throughout the entirety of the manga and who you're going to see introduced throughout the second half of the first season. If you want me to go over more specific characters in depth, then chuck a comment down below with who you'd like, as this video is an extremely quick one bringing people in the anime and some in the manga up to date with all the presidents and vice presidents of the Tokyo Manji Gang, and not really going into too much depth. If you have enjoyed the video and enjoyed Tokyo Revengers in general, then make sure you hit that like button, and if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest anime content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. But anyway, enough of that. For now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.